What's up, guys and gals? So welcome to the fourth video in this series on DIY dry aging. Now, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you're all caught up on the other three videos, and you know that we've done a DIY dry age fridge build. We've put a 107 rib section in there, and in this video here, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it after having been in there for 25 days. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a 360-degree tour of the meat. We're going to flip it so you can see exactly what it's supposed to look like after it's been dry aging for that amount of time. Then we're going to cut off a steak. I'm going to trim it up. We're going to cook it up, and then I'm going to do a taste test. Now, I'm not going to trim up the entire rib section because what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove that back into the fridge. And then in the next video in the series, we're going to pull it again after several more days of aging, and I'm going to compare it with a steak, actually about a 4-inch steak that I cut off of the rib section before, as soon as I got it, before any dry aging was done to it at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare a steak that's been dry aged for more than 30 days with one that hasn't been dry aged at all, cut from the same rib section. And we're going to do a taste and like a texture and like a look and like everything, kind of a test, a comparison. So it should be pretty interesting. So make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Okay, so I've decided to pull the meat. I'm going to at least cut myself off a steak or so. And yeah, it's looking pretty different than when I first put it in here over 23 or 24, maybe 25 days ago now. I'm gonna have to go back to my calendar and check it out. Anyhow, I'm gonna pull it and slice off some. Okay, so here's the meat. It's been something like 24, 25 days. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a tour here around the meat. It definitely looks a lot different than it did when it went in. Yummy. So there it is from that side. I mean, it's definitely looking dry aged. And I'm gonna cut myself off a steak here and see how it's tasting. Okay, and here's what it looks like after having been flipped over. And yeah, you can see that this just looks really interesting. And this has not been touched by human hands for a long time. I got my gloves on. And I haven't eaten dinner today, and it's late. So I'm excited. Alright, I'll be back with you. Okay, so there you have it. This is looking really, really interesting. I mean, this is exactly what you want to be seeing. Gosh, I wish the lighting was better. I mean, I think maybe this is okay, but like, yeah, that is looking awesome. I can't wait to try this out. All right. Okay, so here we are. And you're not going to find me wearing any gloves because I'm going to eat this. And I am very much a fan of getting in touch with your food. Alright, so I'm going to trim this up and try to get rid of a lot of this desiccated stuff, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so here we are after about 5 minutes worth of trimming. And, you know, there's all the desiccated bits. And what I'm left with here, oh, and by the way, it didn't take more than about 2 minutes before I sliced my finger open. But yeah, this side was easy, of course, because that was the side I cut off of the rib section. But this back side here, this was the exposed to the air. So I tried to cut off all of the dry bits, and everything else that's here feels pretty moist. So I think I'm pretty good. I'm going to throw this on the frying pan. I'm going to do frying pan because I cook steaks that way a lot, so I feel like I'm very accustomed to how they taste, and it'll be a good baseline for determining the difference between how this dry aged steak and what I'm normally accustomed to eating tastes like. All right. So I ended up cutting that puppy into two because it was so thick. Yeah, there they are. And I'm just frying this in ghee. I don't want to mess around with the flavor too much, so I can really taste any of the changes in the flavor that was due to the dry age. So I just threw a little bit of salt and pepper in here. Alright, so I just gave it a little flip. Might have been a little bit too early, but it's just looking really tasty, guys, I gotta tell you. Okay, so here you have it. And I have to say, there's definitely something very distinctive and different about this meat. I mean, it looked different from the start. It cooks different. You know, it looks different when it's done. I can't wait to try it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to cut off a little piece. Take a look at, see what it looks like on the inside. I've let it rest for a few minutes here. Here's my poor band-aided finger. You can see that. So I let this cook a little bit too long. It's so funny, I've seen a lot of videos on dried steak and cooking steak in general, and this seems to be a common problem. For me, my issue was I started texting someone and probably should have been paying more attention to my meat. Alright, and now for the real test. I'm actually going to try a piece of this. Let's see what we think. Oh my goodness. So there is no doubt that this tastes very, very different. I'm sorry, I'm just like, I can't get over how different it tastes. I'm actually going to pull the piece out of the fridge that I did not dry age, and I'm going to do a comparison taste with this tomorrow. So I'll keep you updated on that. But until then, enjoy.